already.
Awesome.
Stanley is my colleague. He's the country manager for India at Get Set Up.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Stan.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on the platform.
Pleasure.
Pleasure is all ours.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, hi Stanley.
Good internet.
Priyanka, when did you leave?
I left in 2009 December, almost 7 years. Yeah.
Okay. I also left in 2009 and now 10 years, more than 10 years in corporate.
Okay, great. Which sector?
I'm with Barco Electronic. It's a Belgium company.
Okay, nice.
HR. She's the HR. We have IT, HR, media, everyone around
Doctor
here.
also, huh?
Great to know that.
You are in HR, and Priyanka, what are you doing?
Ma'am, I have my own venture into solar power solutions. So we do turnkey solar power plant projects.
Great.
So, yeah. So with two of my mates, we've started this 5 years back.
Wow, nice. All the best. And Nandini, what about you? What are you doing?
You're on mute.
You're on mute. Yeah, just unmute yourself.
Nandini is on mute.
Yeah.
We'll be starting, and in 1 minute I'll be opening the room for all the guests, and we will also be going live in another couple of minutes. Okay. We have Colonel Baulekar also joined us. Priyanka knows him, right?
No, ma'am. I think.
No, you haven't met him. He's from Asia also.
Okay.
No, Vidya, I don't think I met her.
No, right. She's a very active member at Maharashtra Chambers.
Boom. That's good, Priyanka.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
So good evening, everyone, and welcome to this platform. We are just still getting our people joining us. It's sharp 7 p.m. And we are all here for a very, very interesting session today, this evening, on the occasion of Women International Day. So I was just mentioning that it's not that we should have only the women on the platform. We will definitely have some men around. And thanks, Colonel Baulekar, for being the first one to join us. And we're hoping more people to come in.
It's a pleasure, Vidya. Thank you.
Hi, SK. Nice to see you here.
Hey. Hi, Anita.
Hi.
Good to see you. And thanks for connecting me to this awesome platform.
Lovely to have you here with us.
So good evening, everyone. And we will get started because then we do not want to run out of the time when our guests are speaking, and we all definitely are here to listen to them today. So welcome, everyone, at Get Set Up 100% platform for older adults by older adults. Our mission is to create economic opportunities for older adults and help others learn tools and skills needed to stay connected and live healthy lives. If you know others in your organization or in your friend circle and contacts who might benefit from these classes, please spread the word around. We do have a lot of topics that we cover at our platform, right from learning digital skills to various dimensions of wellness and, of course, social hours. Today is a special occasion. We are all meeting here at the Women International Day, and we are going to have a friendly chat with the lovely ladies who are here with us. Get Set Up, we are educators and a training organization. We do not sell anything or receive kickbacks from any product or services. We are recording the sessions for the participants, and we are also live on the Facebook. So hello from all of us to all those who are watching us live on the Facebook. The chat is available. We will be muting all the participants, the audience, just because it will save us from getting any distraction from outside noise. But please feel free to keep commenting and give your inputs as you're listening to our lovely ladies in the chat box. Before we move on, I would like to, just kick this meeting off, kick this session off. We are all special. We have always been so. On this day, that's the 8th of March, women from every corner of the world come together, and especially also because they want to make a call to action for accelerating general parity. Roles are changing. Yes, we see that around us. The day celebrates the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women from all walks of life, while highlighting the day-to-day problems they face in the personal and professional environment. The theme this year, as most of you would know, choose to challenge, a challenge to world. And from challenges come change. We have today with us four beautiful young ladies, dashing ladies at the Get Set Up platform for an informal chat with us. Let us all welcome them with a virtual applause and also a big round of applause to all you lovely ladies and men, the participants in the audience, and also those who are watching us on the Facebook. A warm welcome once again to all of you and wishing you, each and every one, all the happiness and smiles in the world because you are special. I would like to introduce our guest, I'll start with Major Priyanka Gupta. She's the co-founder of Visol Renewable Energy Solutions, a solar consulting and EPC engineering procurement and construction company. An ex-army officer, she was commissioned into Corps of Engineers of the Indian Army in March 2003. After completing her training from Officers Training Academy, Chennai, she joined 65 Engineer Brigade Regiment, that's PMS, at Ambala Camp. As officiating company commander of a brigade company with approximately 200 soldiers, their team was capable of consulting floating bridges during operations over water obstacles. She was also deputed to Military Engineer Services as Joint Director Architect and Assistant Garrison Engineer. She's a Bachelor of Architecture. After 7 years of Army service, she went on to complete an Executive Management Program from IIM Indore and MBA Operations from IMT Ghaziabad. She's been invited to various forums to talk on subjects like Army career, women empowerment, solar energy, and entrepreneurship. During the COVID-19 crisis, she has taken the initiative to design training programs for the unemployed workforce to take up self-employment in the solar sector. So welcome, Major Priyanka Gupta. Captain Sukhvinder Kaur, who is with us here this evening, an experienced facility management professional and a passionate people's champion, short service commissioned, 80th Lady Officer of Indian Army, doctorate from Pune University in Business Laws for Women Entrepreneurship. A practical explorer, having a rich storehouse of knowledge and expertise, complemented by the ability to visualize unique solutions, to clearly see what's possible, bringing a common sense approach to big ideas. She's always thinking about how to move forward. A keen YouTuber, blogger, and is a host of a book lovers club. She's a proud mother of two, and yes, she has been speaking on several forums on several topics related to life skills. Talking about squadron leader Dimple Rawat, she's an HR professional with 21 years of experience, with diverse experience with defense and corporate. She's a state council member for Wiki. She served Wiki UPHR. She served in the Indian Air Force for 11 years as short service commissioned officer. She worked in different portfolios, including flight commander tech flight for the Russian missile system and HR flight commander. She began her journey in the corporate with Wonderland Industries, where where she was heading HR, currently associated with Barco Electronic Systems and working as DGM HR since past 9 years. A strong believer in challenging the status quo and continuously upskilling the team. Her passion is to work for the empowerment of women in different sectors. She has been working on the enablement, upliftment of women since her Air Force days. She is a state council member, as I mentioned earlier, of WICI, the Women Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Haryana, UP Haryana. Awarded with Women Excellence and 2 HR Excellence Awards for her work. Her hobbies are traveling and exploring new places, and is an avid reader, loves spending quality time with family. Lieutenant Nandini Koduri is a software engineer by profession and an alumni of Naval Academy, 9th batch of lady officers. She was specially recruited by the Navy to help transform it into an IT-enabled force. During her 7 years tenure, she spearheaded some very prestigious IT projects, which were spread out She was awarded Chief of Naval Staff Commendation for her dedication and devotion to duty. Post-Navy, she pursued her passion in technology and worked with Ush's Technology, Merrill Lynch, and Bank of America for almost 6 years. Her roles ranged from senior test lead, senior specialist, and lead analyst, managing multiple diverse teams across regions. She spearheaded some interesting projects across tech and fintech domains. Her upwardly exciting tech career came to a grinding halt when she was diagnosed with dead bone disease, a vascular necrosis to be precise. The only remedy was replacing the dying hip bones. Being a born fighter with a never give up attitude, she fought through her medical condition through drastic changes in lifestyle. Without surgery, within a span of 6 years, she's transformed herself from a fully dependent, fragile human being to a completely independent, full of life woman that she was earlier. Since her recovery, she's performing a yeoman service to the society by selflessly contributing her experience and helping scores of people in overcoming their lifestyle related health problems. So with this introduction, which is not enough for all these wonderful ladies, we welcome them once again at the Get Set Up platform. A warm welcome to all of you. And as you heard from their introduction, they have all chosen to challenge the situation that have come ahead of them. So ladies, I would have a few questions for all of you. You know, this is going to be like a very informal round, and there will be 4 rounds of question. Each one of you will get about 1.5 to 2 minutes to talk. You can take a few seconds less or more. I know it's a very short time, but we would love to have this informal chat with all of you. So we are muting everyone else. And I'm just putting, can you spotlight all of them for us? Ishita, or who is here? I'm just wanting to spotlight all my speakers. Are they all in the spotlight? Okay, one of them is missing, I think. Yeah, thank you. Right, so we have put everyone on mute, of course, but this, for the benefit of our audience, we would try and keep the last 10 minutes for your question and answers, because I'm sure all of you might be very curious to know many things once you have heard them. So I start with the first question would be, we'll go in a sequence. So Dimple, for you, the first question, what was the influencing part or the trigger for you to join the services? We can start with Dimple and then we move on to the next.
Okay. So first of all, I'll take 30 seconds to thank you, Bindaji, for inviting us. Totally my privilege and honor to be here today. And thank you, everyone. I feel everybody, every woman is a leader, irrespective of the designation or title she has. She's a leader for her family, her children, I think at office, everywhere. So every woman has a unique story to tell, which is worth listening. And I think similarly, my story is also, I think, a very common story. But yes, we were born, and I was born, we are three sisters. So we were born from 1974 to 80s. And those days, girls, very few girls used to go to defense. And when I was doing my engineering, I was in the third year of my engineering. There I saw one advertisement one lady officer in uniform. So I was really fascinated by seeing that photograph. And then there was nobody in my family from defense. दूर दूर से कोई तक कोई भी नहीं था. And then secondly, those days girls used to be tagged as domesticated. So most of the girls were going for doctors or teaching job karte the, very few in defense. And then we were three sisters, and my parents had always brought all of us as individuals, or I think more than the sons, I would say. So वो भी था कि चलो, if I there was something very very interesting, challenging I saw in that job, which was very adventurous. And I thought this is the right place where I should go. And when I read the QRs were that, you need to have 60% marks in all the 4 years. And I really worked very, very hard in the final year, could score more than 70%, meet the QR, and then I gave the FCAT, and then followed by the SSB. And then finally, medical exam was cleared. And then that's how I joined Indian Air Force, I would say. So it is all fascination which came from that photograph, and the purpose which I had before, it will bring a lot of pride and respect for my parents, my family. So this was the main trigger, I would say, for joining the defense forces.
Lovely. Something different you wanted to do from which nobody in the family did.
Yes, right. Challenge the status quo.
Yes, thank you. So we go to Priyanka, Major Priyanka.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Binda ma'am, for that kind introduction and introducing us to this wonderful platform. For me, I would say, I come from a place called Bokaro Steel City in Jharkhand. It's a steel town, and so it's one of the place which has very good schooling. And since my childhood, I have been seeing, it's a tradition or a SOP there that any boy who is in class 12 will go for one NDA attempt at least. So, every year, even my brother, who is 1 year younger to me, he gave an NDA attempt. So that was very common, and I never saw girls doing it because, of course, it was not for girls. And so it was typically, in our side, it's medical or engineering. So I went on to do my architecture, and post my architecture, I was working in Delhi. And I saw, as ma'am said, Dimple ma'am also, I saw this women's special entry scheme for the Indian Army. And there were two vacancies from the architecture background ladies and in a short service commission. So, in India, I think most of us are, we are really, we that have that charm for the uniform. Everybody respects uniform, and, getting an opportunity to wear that uniform is a matter of pride. So I immediately applied, and as luck would have it, I got a call for the SSB. And I come from totally civil background. No one दूर दूर तक मेरा भी कोई नहीं है आर्मी से. So I was not knowing what to do, how to prepare for the SSB. But somewhere near, I was staying in Delhi at that time. I had seen a NCC headquarters in the Safdarjung enclave, and I just walked in and I said, I've got this SSB interview letter and I don't know what to do. Can you help me? Can you guide me? So they said, we don't train, but then there are various academies which do that, and they shared me a number. So I happened to call them, and get some orientation, went to Allahabad, did my SSB, and I cleared it in the first attempt. So I think two things which got me into the army is that the background that I have of not having any limiting belief that okay, you can't do it. And second thing is that taking that first step. If you want something, take that first step and you can get into it. So yeah, that's my journey to the army.
So we will hear Sukhvinder. We'll hear from Sukhvinder, Captain Sukhvinder.
Right. So thank you everyone, and thank you Anita and Binda for inviting me for this session today. So yes, that streak of doing something different, doing something out of the ordinary is what we all have in common. So it was there in me as well. But unlike Priyanka and Dimple, my father's from the army, infantry, and my brother was already in NDA training. So it's like second generation. But never in our wildest dreams had any of us ever thought that girls could go into the army, right? So I finished my master's in Wadia College in computers. And then my father said, okay, now it's time to get married. So come back to Jodhpur. We'll find a nice guy, obviously army officer. So you will get the same army life that you've grown up in. And I said, excuse me, I never had a boyfriend in my life because all you said was, पहले कुछ पढ़ लो, कुछ बन जाओ और फिर ये सब करने के लिए जिंदगी पड़ी है. And now when I want to कुछ बनने का time है, so you're telling me get married. So which means first my father will decide my destiny and my future, and then my husband will decide what the heck. This is not for me. So I have always been a rebel, a path breaker, you can say, or you know, uh, whatever, a little bit different. And I said, no, I cannot accept this life. So nevertheless, I went back to Jodhpur. And what do I do there sitting idle? I was a topper in college here. So I went up to Aptech. That was the only IT that we had in Jodhpur. I'm talking about way back in 93, right? So in Jodhpur and Rajasthan, they had never heard of technology. So obviously there were no IT firms, so no jobs. Aptech was the only one. I said, guys, will you enroll me for a course? I just want to touch computers every day. So they saw my CV. They said, why don't you join as a faculty? You can teach also and you can learn. I said, very nice. So when I was teaching there, just 5 days before the last day of the filling up forms for SSB, one of my students, he said, he showed me that advertisement, He said, ma'am, मुझे लगता है ये आपको बुला रहे हैं. I looked at it and I said, yes, boss, this is my gateway to freedom. मैं तो चली. I didn't talk to anyone. I just filled the form. And unfortunately for me, the day the SSB call letter came, the postman and my dad reached home at the same time, and the letter went into my dad's hand, and he came to know that I had applied. So obviously there's a lot of drama because they were all set for my wedding, and here I was wanting to run away and get into the army. And then my father's first reaction was, "लड़कियां फौज में क्या करेंगी?" Because he is a total infantry soldier, very conventional agricultural background, so never could visualize it. So I said, "जो आप करते हो वो हम कर लेंगे, क्या problem है?" And I'm younger than you, so that's how it started. So anyway, so challenge after challenge after challenge. He went up to me till the academy. I remember we reached the academy at about 7 in the evening. And he said, "To suitcase leke upar ja. In 2 hours time, I'm sure you will change your mind and you will come back. 10 baje tak main idhar hu. The gaadi is here. If you come back, we'll go to the railway station. Tera bhi ho gaya. I won't tell anybody that you came back. That's fine." I said, "आप पूरी रात रुके रहो, 6 महीने रुके रहो. I'm not coming out without getting the rank here." So that's what influenced me, that I just wanted to do something different. I wanted to have my life. I wanted to be somebody. And I didn't want to be, daughter of Colonel Gill to wife of so and so. So this was my opportunity to make my own identity. And that's why I went. And I don't regret a single day. So
Lovely,
that's
lovely.
my story.
That's such an inspirational beginning of your that career path. We'll now hear from Nandini, Lieutenant Nandini. You have to unmute yourself. Yes.
Just like Dimple and Priyanka, I come from a non-army background. I have not seen anybody in my family in this thing. The only thing that was driving me was Udan serial. There was a calling. When I used to watch it, there was a calling in me. I didn't realize it was there, but somewhere it touched a chord. But joining Navy, I think I'll have to give a credit to my mom because she found the ad. I'd completed my engineering and I was looking out for a job. And she referred it to me and she said, why don't you try it? So maybe it was her dream. I said, okay, Mama, I'll try it. And I applied and I got through. But when I got through, I had DRDO scientist C grade in my hand. So it was a difficult decision, but I felt Navy was calling. And I said, if not IPS, why not Navy? That's how I joined. And I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And thanks to ma'am.
Lovely. Thank you very much. And I see lovely comments coming in the chat box as you all are talking. So all our audience and everybody is so impressed with, uh, they haven't yet heard anything. We are just at the first पहले टप्पे पे हैं हम लोग. So now we are coming to the second, we just want to hear something from each one of you. So starting with Priyanka, if you can share one experience, there'll be plenty, very many, but one experience during your tenure in the services.
Yeah, so
Again, we will, because we're going to have another 2 rounds. So we'll keep a little tab on the time.
yeah, sure. So, so army has different branches. We call it core. So I was commissioned into Corps of Engineers. So Corps of Engineers is basically the combat engineering branch of the Indian Army. So the main fighting arms, as ma'am said, the infantry and the armored and the RT, and we are the supporting arms. So what engineers do in the war is that we provide access through, laying bridges, even also put obstacles in enemy area by laying mines or demining or exploding the enemy establishments. So my battalion was specialized into making floating bridges, when the infantry or the army tanks move in the enemy area and if there is a water obstacle. So my battalion was equipped to make a 300-meter bridge, floating bridge in flat 90 minutes in pitch dark at the night. So we had in the battalion we had 4 companies, which one company is typically 200 soldiers. So being a captain with 2 years of service, I got an opportunity to be a company commander, which generally is a rank of a major. And my best experience was when we used to go for mock-up war exercises in the border areas. Like in Suratgarh, we used to, on the Indira Gandhi Canal, we used to camp for 2 months, stay in the desert, stay in the camp, train every day. And at the end of the camping, we used to have a mock-up war scenario, actual war scenario, where I led my company, and you actually go to the enemy area and in the pitch dark at night, maybe 1 or 2 o'clock, with the precision you have to make that floating bridge and deliver to the commander. So that's I think, my best experience in the army. And yeah, thank you.
So we will, thank you, Priyanka. We will go to Sukhvinder. And just before we move there, my request to the participants, if we can take the questions toward the end, I hope it should be fine so that we, don't break the chain and we also can meet our time limits. All right. So let the questions keep coming in the chat box. We will take it in there. Thank you. Yeah, we'll go to Sukhvinder.
Sure. So there are 2 experiences that are really very sharply etched in my mind, and I'll keep in mind I have 1.5 minutes. I will wrap up both of them in that much time.
No, you can take a few seconds here and there. That's okay. All of you.
So
I'm just trying to
okay.
be a little, we want to
Yes.
get the most from all of you. That's why.
Okay. So my first experience was night firing. when I was just married and I was posted in the Northern Command, and I was in a DOU, Div Ordnance Unit, and one of our dependent units, every month they would go for their practice firing, right, for day and night. And that night I requested them, can I also accompany you? So when you do that night firing, it's absolutely pitch dark, and there'll be illumination round that gets fired, and it'll light up the sky for about 10 seconds. In that 10 seconds, you have to sight the target, you have to set your weapon, aim and fire, and it has to hit the target. So I fired not only a rifle, I fired an LMG, and the best piece was the 84 Carl Gustav rocket launcher, because when I fired that for a few seconds, I felt my ears had blown off and my shirt had blown off, and I was like totally numb. So that was one beautiful night, because we had only seen Diwali crackers. We had not seen this kind of night lighting and firing in that. And I think I did a very good job there of firing. So that was my one awesome experience. I don't think I would ever get that again. The second one was that when Op Vijay started, so before the Kargil operation, so my division was also targeted to move from Himachal to JNK, Rajouri side, and I was about 3.5 months pregnant. So at the time, like you all came later, I was one of those pioneers where they were seeing a lady officer for the first time. So people would come and peep into my office to see लड़कियां वर्दी में दिखती कैसी हैं. So we were from that era, right? So nobody knew what we can do and what we cannot do when we are pregnant, because the rules were yet being framed. So the general rule that was there for the AMC officers was that after 6 months of pregnancy, your medical category will be downgraded, and then there'll be some jobs that you can do and some you can't do. But I was just 3.5 months pregnant, so which means 2.5 months still I had to go before my category was down. So I asked my boss, I said, do you think I can stay back in the rear and manage the logistics from the rear? He said, no, you are shape one as of now, so you might as well come with us for 2.5 months, even if it is 2.5 months. I said, fine. So that attitude of always taking challenges head on and saying, let's experience this, I said, fine. So with my sari and my those DM shoes and my carbine, I moved along with the convoy, but only on one condition. I said, I will not sit in that truck. I'm going to take my Maruti as part of the convoy. So in that entire 30, 40 trucks wala convoy, my Maruti was sandwiched in between. And we took about 2 days to reach our location. I helped to set up the entire camp. It was open. So everything was in tentage, including our accommodation. And it was a sight. People used to come from the other corps to see, अरे ये lady officer pregnant है, साड़ी में ऐसे भागी फिरती है. So it was, for them it was a novelty. For me it was like, ठीक है, it's a job. I chose it. I got to do it. I'm loving it. So I did that. So those two experiences of, in that state of pregnancy, moving with a convoy in my Maruti and that night firing, two amazing experiences I just can never forget. So that's it from my side.
Thank you so much. Lovely experiences. And yeah, we can not really visualize, but we can connect to some extent. So Nandini, something that you would like to share with us.
Okay. I don't have experiences like this, but yes, there is a small incident that I would like to share. We all have seen in the movies how a soldier is called back from job and how he has to reach his base no matter what. So this was one thing I don't think I expected to endure within my short service of 7 years. But I happened to take 1 week of leave after 2 years, landed in Bangalore to attend a friend's wedding. But the very next day, Kargil happened and I was called back. But not knowing how to figure out, how to travel back to Chilka, that is in Bhubaneswar, 100 kilometers from Bhubaneswar, and I'm sitting in Bangalore. No flights, nothing. So I literally took 3 days time. In train itself is 3 days, and I had to go through various other modes of transport just to reach my base. And I got master because I didn't reach on time. So that was an experience which actually made me feel how difficult a life a soldier leads. If it was war and I was supposed to go to the front, it was really, I was just going to a base, but it still hurt me to leave my people after for meeting 2 years. After 2 years, I was meeting them, but I, so this is an experience that actually connects me to the soldier who's called back on his wedding day, on the birth of his child, no matter what. I think that's where it connects.
Thank you, Nandini. So it's not only the movies, reality कुछ और होती है movies में तो हमें वहां दूर से देखना पड़ता है.
Yes,
But
going through
right.
it was really a difficult thing to manage it all by myself because nobody's there to take me around.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we'll now hear from Dimple.
So I have many experiences, but let me just choose two to, just for the paucity of time. I think diversity and inclusion, what we talk today. So during those days, I was commissioned in 98. So during those days, the diversity wasn't there much, but I think inclusiveness was there. We were very well, included in the leadership team. And when Operation Parakram was on, so that time I was already a flight commander, and I think the biggest lesson which I learned was about the leadership, which I tell everyone. So, you don't become a leader, it is not an entitlement. So you become a leader, you don't become a leader because you have pips or ranks on your shoulders, but because you lead with example, you bring value on the table. And when the Operation Parakram, I mean, it was my commanding officer said that these many missiles are to be prepared in so much of time. So, like Nandini said, I immediately told my warrant officer sahab कि भाई रिकॉल कर लो, लोगों को बुलाना शुरू कर दो. Those days we didn't have mobile. वो पीसीओ में they used to make the call. So जैसे भी उन्होंने कॉल वॉल लगाने शुरू किए, and I had goosebump because this person now his office was just next to my office. So वो जोर से बात करके बोल रहे हैं कि हाँ भाई आजा, जिसके लिए वर्दी पहनी थी वो काम करने का टाइम आ गया है तो वापस आजा. My God, I can't believe next day by 10 o'clock this person was there in the flight. So I mean पता नहीं वो बस से आया, ट्रेन से आया, कैसे आया, but 10 बजे तक वो हमारे पास काम करने के लिए आ गया. So I think वो जो leadership वाला जो respect, because people they had all from different age group. 18 साल से, because वो 12th के भी बच्चे बाद में soldiers बनते हैं, आते हैं. So 12 से लेकर वो 55, 18 years से 55 years तक के लोग, they were there in the my team. And I think I learned from them, I would say, because I had only experience of 2 years. And what we call today that the leadership of empathetic listening, 25-26 साल में कहाँ से वो सब आएगी? But I think I learn a lot, and those days have actually made me so strong. And the power of human connection I learned from defense days. Second incident I would like to just share is the kind of punishment we used to get in the training academy. So Priyanka, आप लोगों को भी शायद याद होगा, the punishment used to be for the team. So once, after the PT, then we had parade, and then we used to have 9 to 6 classes. So in between, we just came for lunch, and after lunch, it started raining. So I couldn't find my raincoat. So now everybody is waiting because you cannot move alone. You have to move in squads, or all 25, 26 of us together. They are waiting, my brother officers and sister officers, but then I couldn't find it, and we were late. So जैसे तैसे जो है, we reached the class after 20 minutes. So the instructor, he started shouting at the seniors कि क्या सिखाया तुमने? Well, because of the raincoat, they couldn't come to the class. उसके बाद जैसे ही class खत्म हुई, the seniors they came and they said, today we will take you to the parade ground and you will run in the rain for 1 hour. And this was only, why? So that all the fear of the train is gone. अगर लड़ाई होगी तो क्या तुम वेट करोगे? रेनकोट कहाँ है? So in the war, I mean, and secondly, whole of the, everybody will be punished. So initially you used to feel bad कि भाई मेरे वजह से पूरी टीम को punishment मिल रही है. But बाद में we all started enjoying, कि ये तो team work है. I think now the, foundation, the comprehensive course or the training which we undergo, कितनी thoughtful होती है कि आपको किसी भी सिपाही को छोड़ के नहीं आना है. You have to, if you're going together, for a war, you have to come back together. आपका कोई किसी को चोट लग जाए, आपको उसको लेके आना है, कैसे भी लाना है. So I think these two experiences I can't forget in my life.
Thank you, all of you, for sharing such lovely stories. And like the theme we talked about, the theme choose to challenge. और आप लोगों को तो हर मोड़ पे challenges स्वीकारने पड़ते थे. So keeping that the theme in mind, again, various situations we are talking, but maybe in your role as a woman, a mother, a daughter, a wife, and whatever role that you were in, any one situation where you feel that you just chose to take that challenge over your existing role because of the call of your duty, anything if you can remember and share. Again, I know it can be lengthy, but we would love to hear from you people. So starting with we will hear from Sukhwinder first.
Okay. So basically, what you want me to share about is if I understand your question correctly, is one challenge that I took up and delivered, right?
No, maybe because it was the call of your duty or something like that, but that time you were also pulled back as a mother, as a daughter, as a wife or something in that role, and you were just struggling between the two, and then you had to face it, and you took up the challenge and went for the call of your duty. So some instance like that, if you can recall, did it happen?
Honestly, no, I never had that conflict between my personal and professional life. The simple reason being that I got married toward the end of my 4 years of service, so it was just my last year, and in that experience that I narrated about moving to Op Vijay, that was the only time I could have stood up and said, "No, I'm not going to go. You find out the rules. You do this, that." But I chose to rise to the occasion and say, if I have worn the same uniform, I have worn the same ranks, then I am going to follow and abide by the same rules. And if the organization needs me today, 4 years it has given me the best. So it's my time to rise to the occasion. And it was an operation situation, so one could not think about oneself before you think of the organization and the nation, so to say. So that was my only opportunity where I could have taken, but I didn't. I chose to go with the flow and go with what my boss said. And after 6 months, when my category was downgraded, then I came back to the rear. And living in those tents in that state of pregnancy with so much emotional upheaval going on inside you, with so many hormonal changes happening, and it's your first time pregnancy, husband is sitting in Siachen where no phone call, no letter, nothing, and you are in that area where there is no postal service every day, there are no telephones, it's just that signal, intercom that we used to have, and there were no toilets. So we were living in huts and tents. So obviously there's no flushing system. So it was very difficult, very challenging. For the first 20 days, we didn't have our vegetable supplies on. So every day we were eating mooli ke patte ka soup, mooli ke patte ki sabji, mooli ke parathe, everything with mooli because that was growing right there. And they used to just pick it up. So aloo, mooli, and tomato, and we survived on that. At the time, I didn't say, "Oh, I'm pregnant. I need proper diet, and I need this, and I need that." So, so I think that is where it was a challenge, physiologically, emotionally, from various fronts. But I decided to take it up, not make a fuss about my gender or my condition, and I trusted the organization that when my category downgraded, I will go back. So that is my one experience. Apart from that, I never really got into a spot where I was, pulled into different directions.
Right. So that itself is a great experience that you shared, because life is not always full of roses. Now, when you shared this, some of us on the other side of the fence, हमें लगता है कि वर्दी पहन लिया और everything is going good there. But like how you said just now, life is tough, yes, at times. So we move to Nandini.
Uh, Binda, I was taken in for my technical knowledge because I was a computer science engineer. So we had a lot of projects which were lined up one after another. We wanted to do that. When it came to that, we saw I was the only lady officer in a group of 5 people, all the men around me, and the lone person sitting in one small cabin doing up the projects. So day by day, the time started increasing, the going back home time, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. It went on and on. And I was like, how is this managing? 10 o'clock you go, again you come back at 8 o'clock for the office. And finally, it came to a time when I used to get back home at 5 o'clock and again be there in office at 8. And this was a challenge for me because I was the lone person in Mumbai roaming around at that time. And all my friends used to say, what are you doing? How can it be that this is your timing? I said 24 hours, 24 by 7. And that's my job. And I stood alongside the men and I worked for years, 2 years almost. And I think that was a challenge that I rose up to because I don't think any of us were ready for that kind of a challenge in civilian life at that point of time. I hadn't faced it. And this for me was an opener that I am capable of having 2 hours sleep and working to my full potential. And this also helped me when I came to Merrill and Bank of America because the routine there was the same again. So I face both the sides of life in this way. And I think I stood up for myself and I never let anybody know what I went through. Whether I had food, no food, it didn't matter.
Wow, amazing. Thank you, Nandini. Priyanka, we would like to hear something from you.
Yeah, so, while I was hearing the question and answers, some comments from Nandini ma'am and Satinder ma'am. So, I have been thinking, and actually, what I realized is there are two things, when we say choose to challenge. So, there are two aspects which shapes a person, be it a girl or a boy. First is your upbringing, the way you've been brought up, the kind of mindset that you've been given, the kind of belief system that you've been given. And post that is how the organization in which you go shapes you. So I think I've been quite lucky in that way. From my parents, they never told me anything that okay, you are a girl, you can't do this. So I never had that limiting belief कि अच्छा ये मैं नहीं कर सकती हूँ. And when I went to the army training, I was told you are an officer, you are not a lady. So that's the first thing. You're not a lady, you are an officer. So that mindset of you having some limiting belief that you can't do a particular thing because you are a lady was gone. So it was just service before self. That's in the mindset. And across my service, I don't remember a occasion where I had to really, think that okay, no, just because I am a lady, I should not go for this and go ahead with my duty and prioritize my personal life. Maybe post that when I, became a mother and I was working. So there was a challenge, but then I started working immediately after my pregnancy. There were some assignments which came and then I took it over. So I think the kind of mindset that the forces give you, uh, everyone, I think most of us, it is a difficult question because it becomes a way of life, to just take the challenges easily. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. I know it's a difficult way. It's not easy to put it across like that because in your mind you're just there in uniform and you're an officer. So, Dimple, we would like to hear something from you.
I think this year, why they have just given this choose to challenge the theme, but we all have been challenging. I think not only us, our predecessors also. So a lot of things, lot of times I have challenged, myself or in defense. But now looking at Sukhvinder's example, I would like to give same example. So when the Parakram Operation Parakram was on, so my husband he is also serving in defense air force. So he went to the forward base towards the border, and I stayed back, and we were just preparing the missiles. And after I think 5 or 6 days, I had some nausea kind of a feeling. I went to MI room, the medical. We have our own hospitals, and there I was told that I am pregnant. So now the first thing was how to communicate this to him. So just same what Sukhvinder said. No mobile, no landline, because obviously he was in the border at the front place, and I think there was only RT, the wireless communication, at both the end, my end and his end, with the code words. So right code word I will not tell here, but I remember, suppose it is Alpha or Bravo. So it is, you can't talk one to one. So there are two soldiers who are managing this control room, and two managing his control room. So I told him that Bravo, Bravo, Alpha here. He said, okay, Alpha, go ahead. I said 1+1. So he didn't understand, he didn't understand that. The soldiers, they understood it, and they started congratulating us. So I think this was peak. I mean, it was around 5th of January, and then whole of the pregnancy I was alone, and I think I worked till the end. So this was my first, first pregnancy, and the daughter, she was born in October. Now she is 19 years old. So people used to say, "Bhai, itni mehnat kari hai, iska naam to Parakram ya Parakrami rakhna." So I think that is one experience which is very close to my heart, because I learned that women kitni powerful hoti hain. I mean, the supreme power. We are blessed to be women. There I learned my whole pregnancy alone. And people, obviously the parents, they used to come ki chalo kuch bana ke khila do, ye kar lo. But otherwise I think most of the time I was alone. And wo aaram se ho bhi gaya aisa kuch, because I think we are Fauji's, wo foundation itna strong hai. And ye what Priyanka also said, ki wo mind controls everything, mind control your body, everything. वो academy में इतना घोट घोट के पिला दिया जाता है कि कुछ लगा नहीं. I can just say this.
Yeah, thank you very much for the wonderful sharing that all of you did with all of us. I mean, the stories in your life, it's very difficult to actually complete all this, or there's always dil mange more hota hai na, we want more and more. So challenges have been all the time with all of us, but especially challenges make you discover things about yourself that you yourself never really know. You should never view your challenges as a disadvantage. I think all of you believed in yourself and you took on the challenges. Dig deep within yourself to conquer all the fears that you have. So thank you very much once again, officers. A big salute to all of you from us. And we would want to give some time to our participants, but because I'm sure they're waiting to talk to you, and you all are our heroes, heroines. And yes, if you're okay, we will give them about 5-7 minutes to, there are some questions. I think we had, Rashmi had a question. Rashmi, would you want to unmute yourself and ask your question? We'll make it short and quick so that we can have a few more questions from others. I would like to invite all of you to come on videos and give them you all wanted to applaud, you all were giving wonderful comments. So please come on the video, all of you, and you can give a virtual applause. You can also give reactions. Of course, the reactions were coming from time to time, but it would be wonderful to see all of you on your screen. And a big salute to all our lady officers. Thank you. Thank you. Is Rashmi around? Rashmi, you had a question while we were in our first and second round. So you can unmute yourself and ask the question. If she's not around, anybody else wants to quickly say, yeah, Veena, you were trying to say something? Unmute yourself and you can speak up.
I wanted to know how you could find your partner from the same profession. And how was the support from your family?
So maybe Sukhwinder and Dimple both have the partners in the defense. So would you want to take the question? One of
Definitely.
you, and then
So,
Okay,
Sukhvinder?
you can go first.
Okay, okay. So thank you so much, Beena ji, for this question. And I think a great engagement we are having here. Yes, I met my husband in the academy only. He's senior to me. And there has been a great, great support. He is my force multiplier, I tell everyone. Because, you know, when you are married to same, service officer, so
Yes.
he understands better. And he has always been a supporting system. I mean, the way he takes care of the children, whatever I am able to do today, you know, working in the corporate, then Saturday, Sunday, I'm working as a wiki member, Women Indian Chamber of Commerce, what Bindaji said. So I think it is first as your husband, and then the support system which you talked about, both set of parents, the in-laws and your own parents. They are, for me, they have been a great support. How, they have brought up the children. They were always there some way or other. And today also, when I'm in corporate, I have to travel a lot. So whenever I go, out of country, my mother-in-law is here to support them, and my parents are here. So I think this is a great blessing. So मुझे ये लगता है कि बस आप लोगों के जैसे बड़े लोगों का आशीर्वाद बना रहे. So बस उतना ही चाहिए.
All the best to you.
Thank you.
thank you. Was Veena Soni also trying to say something, Veena?
Good evening, everyone. I have a very small question which is related to the young generation. My daughter, she is 21 and she is looking forward to join somewhere where she can fall in. She is from mass media. So is there anything that you can inspire and tell me about that I can inspire her to do? And इसी के साथ जुड़ा हुआ सवाल है कि what is it else can be done that we can inspire these young girls to join? Thank you.
Who would like to take this? Priyanka or Sukhwinder, anyone?
So I will
Yes.
start and the others can pitch in if I miss something. So I think it's a very relevant question, especially in today's context where we see lady officers reaching the Supreme Court and trying to, um, create a pathway for the future, and a lot of publicity, positive, negative, happening. And we really think that it's the right time now to inspire more women to join. Probably some of them would look at all the media reports of what's happening in the Supreme Court and get discouraged. So I would say that, in the end, it's your personal choice. If you want to do something which is not just a 9 to 5 job, you want to make it a vocation and you want to have a lifestyle, there's nothing better than wearing the uniform, because it's not just a job. If you're looking for going to office, coming back, and that's about it, then that's not the thing. But if you're looking for a lifestyle, if you're looking for a quality of life, and if you're looking for, upward jump for the rest of your life, then the defense forces is the right place to be, is what I would say. So no matter what is currently happening in the scenario with the army, air force and navy and the permanent commission and blah blah blah, all that apart, those are all also work in progress which are paving the way for the future courses of women officers to come in. So no matter what your graduation, science, arts, commerce, there's always an opportunity for each woman out there, as long as she knows this is a lifestyle and this is a way of life and not just a job. So that's
Thank
what
you.
I would like to say.
Thank you for that
Thank
motivation.
you.
As a mother, I'm a little skeptical. So thank you, Sikandar. It really means a lot.
Thank you very much. That was very well answered, Sukhwinder. Is there any more question? Otherwise, we would pause here and thank our esteemed guest. Is Mr. Bandekar Beena? You want?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Vandeka
just
wants-
wanted to know, did any one of you face a hurdle of gender discrimination during your promotion? In the way of your promotion? in your army life?
I think I am not sure if any one of you would want to answer this.
I will answer it.
Yes.
So thank you, sir, asking this question. Frankly, I have not seen any discrimination or in promotion or anything else. I will
That's
just
good.
give an example, sir. When I was in the academy, I was given the gold medal. I am a gold medalist. अभी तो मैं भूल गई हूँ उन बातों को, but I was
Wow, very good.
and
Up
after
to you.
when I joined my first unit, we have inspection by Dasi. Dasi is Directorate of Air Staff Inspection. So we were 15 officers in our unit, and 2 officers got exceptional award, and I was one of them. So I don't think there is a discrimination. I think that is what I said. Diversity is
Good to hear.
but inclusiveness is very strong. So I think that's why we say that defense forces is one of the best job you can ever aspire to have. And as Sukhvinder said, if you are looking for that lifestyle and you want to grow and you have a very good foundation, like I'm enjoying my corporate life, because of that foundation what I have, you're so disciplined, you get up early in the morning. By the time the world is getting up, you have already done so many activities, in 2 hours. So I have never seen discrimination in defense forces. I have never seen, I would say.
Yeah, I think I would.
Nice to hear. Nice
Yeah.
to hear that.
I would like to add something on this.
Yes, Priyanka.
Even in Indian Armed Forces, induction started somewhere around 93, 94 for all the forces. So initially, when the induction process started, there were, limited roles given, limited promotions given, and the whole process has grown. The whole armed forces have seen how women have been performing, and now it is a gradual process. So for the initial batches, yes, of course it was only short service, and there were limited promotions. But now that they have seen how women are contributing to the forces, the recently, last year, the permanent commission has been announced. So we are growing, because as a country also, the social fabric is different. The troop accepting females as a commander, or commanding the troops, the mindset is gradually changing. So the initial hiccups were there, but I think we are on the right path.
Thank you.
Thank
Can
you.
I ask one thing more? How
Uh,
do you, how
we are
your
at-
juniors accept you? How your juniors accept you?
Absolutely normal. I think they always call us Jai Hind Saab. We are Saab for them, either whether it is a male or a female. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Wonderful ladies, and excellent session we had with all of you. So Squad Leader Dimple Rawat, Major Priyanka Gupta, Captain Dr. Sukhvinder Kaur, and we had Lieutenant Nandini Koduri. Thank you very much once again from the bottom of our heart, my heart, and on behalf of Get Set Up for giving us this time and gracing this platform for all of us. And I'm sure we are going to see you again on this platform, maybe on individual sessions very soon. We will be in touch with you. And the audience also had been wonderful here, patiently contributing to all of this, and nobody wants to leave the platform. But with a note, the stories that we heard from you in whatever little time, the message that you gave us was, don't downgrade your dream just to fit your reality. Upgrade your conviction to match your reality. That's what I think right from the time you said, how did you get into the forces and whatever brought you here. So thank you once again. And with this note, we will have to end the session. For all those who are new here to this platform, look us up at www.getsetup.in, and you can see a whole lot of topics with different timings. Choose the topics of your interest and your convenience to register for these 60-minute sessions that we have for older adults, learning skills, and also social hours. Thank you once again, and Jai Hind, and a big salute to all of you.
Thank you.
One more time.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye. Thanks. Thanks, Nandini, Priyanka.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Vinda.
Have a wonderful time.
It was a wonderful session. I enjoyed. Thanks.